on guys, my name is ADC Art Attack. Welcome to today's video. In today's video we are going to be discussing how to draw FRIEZA, which is something that I guess is a challenge for some people because it has been requested. So yeah, we're going to get into this, and I understand he is actually quite a challenging character to do. I myself find some difficulties with him sometimes. So I'm going to break down some basic guidelines and show you a real easy way of doing it. And this is going to be a heavy in-depth tutorial, and I'm going to try and do it as quickly as I can. So yeah, let's see what we can do. So to start with, we're going to start by getting our little ruler, protractor, whatever this thing's called, and we're just going to do a straight line down the middle of the paper. And yeah, don't worry about measurements or any of that nonsense. We're just going to do a straight line. Okay, now what I want to do is just at the top around here for screen purposes, I'm just going to do a circle, and you know, be as accurate as you can be, but don't worry too much if you can't get it completely accurate. It's just a guide that we need. So as our little circle, it's a little bit more of an oval, but hey, it's a circle. Shush. Okay, so this line down here, what we want to do is do a straight line across. Now I just want to get the measurements out for this one because we don't really need the actual numbers themselves, but it just helps to line up things. And what we want to do is we want to find this point over here, and I'm just going to say the same distance between these 2 points I'm going to do over here. So might go a little bit beyond that, I don't know, it depends on the posture that you want. So I'm going to go about here, and same on the other side. I'm going to find this point and measure the same distance, and obviously with my circle not being completely accurate, it's a bit different, so it might be longer one side versus the other, but we'll do the best that we can, and let's just say that it's over here. Okay, so hopefully they look somewhat equal distance apart. And then all I want to do is I want to make a sort of God, what is this triangle called? Equilateral, I don't know. We just want to make a triangle basically, and the triangle is going to be just, let's just say we got what we got here. We got 8 centimeters. You don't need to know the measurements again, guys. Just to sort of work with this. So let's just say it's 8 centimeters. We want to get a sort of 9 centimeters across. We just want to go a little bit bigger than what we've got here. So yeah, don't worry about going off screen, it doesn't matter too much, but you just want to sort of bring it towards this line here, but just a tiny bit longer than this line. So yeah, I'm going 9 centimeters. Again, it doesn't matter too much, you just need that line as a sort of guide. Okay then, so we're sort of done with our lines now. We don't really need that ruler anymore, but we can start marking off some key areas. So for example, a little bit below this top of the circle, so about here, we can say is where the well, we'll just mark these lines off. Mark these lines off and you'll know what I'm talking about as we do them. But I might make some little guides as we go along, just so you can sort of visualize what it is that I'm doing exactly. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of make a little curve just here that sort of comes right up to these points between this and this point here. And again, up the top, we want to go about the same distance. No, we don't. We want to go a little bit higher. So let's just say if we go about here, we'll go a little bit higher. So this is our midpoint between these two bits. So yeah, about that distance. We'll go about that distance up here. Okay. And again, that's just going to give us the top of a sort of circle. So we'll just make a rough line around here. And just keep it rough because it doesn't matter too much. But this line here is important because this is going to be where the tops of this area here will fall onto. Okay, so we keep these markings and these little guidelines in just like that. Okay, now I'm not going to fill out too many details as I do this because I want this to be a guide, and I will fill out the details once we get closer to the end. I just sort of want you guys to be able to follow along what it is that I'm doing. Okay, so now these edges, I just want to make a nice sort of straight line to where this point is here, just along our line. So we're just going to come out here and just sort of follow that natural side of the circle. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just going to pick that point there, and same distance apart we're going to try and be, and we'll just go down to here. And once we get to about the midpoint of the circle and say the halfway point, so somewhere around there, we're going to bring this down, and we're going to come down to this line. Now we can go below this line, which I might do. We'll just make some little lines just going around here. But again, be rough with it, just sort of freestyle them, just drop them down, just so we've got our guides and we know what we're doing. And the head will start to look a bit large. As you can see now, it looks a bit long, but that will change as we start to add in the ears, which we're going to do now actually. So what we want to do is figure out a point where our eyeline is going to be. So a good way to do that is perhaps just below this midpoint here where we've gone upwards. So where these 2 points were is pretty much where we will put the ear line. So let's just sort of mark that off. So there's our ear line, just along there. And again, you can alter this as much as you like. You can change this around. Things will change as we do them, but yeah, we'll get to that when we get to it. Make a good guess on where you want the top of the ear to be, just a little bit below the point up here. So about there looks like a good place. And we'll just sort of make these markings. And again, judge the distance, just be a fair distance apart. Don't go crazy, just a nice fair distance, and we'll get the guidelines in. Now you can be straight with these lines of the ears down here, it doesn't matter too much because we will have some details. Now back to the eyes. Anyway, let's do the eyes. So what I'm going to do with the eyes is I'm going to mark off the center point between the ears and the cheeks. So this center point along here is where I'm going to mark off my eyes. And we want the eyes to fall down to this line just down here. So what I'm going to do is have the eyes maybe meet about here. We want a bit of a gap. So I think that's a good position. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is just sort of start to curve. And again, the same thing as when I do the eyebrows for the Saiyans. I'm just going to curve it around very nicely just here. And again over here, we'll just sort of curve towards that line. Now I'm going right up to the edges for the sake of the tutorial. You don't have to go right up to the edges. And I did go a bit high with this eyebrow, but it's okay. We'll fix that once we need to. But the eyes are going to fall about here. Okay, now with Frieza, they go on a slight slant from the cheek. So you've got the cheek coming in on this natural angle, but the eyes come in on a bit more of a slant because he's got a bit more of a sort of snake eye type thing going on here. So we'll just sort of drop them in a little bit like that. We don't want to go crazy low because we want to give him a bit more angle with his eyes. So what we'll do is we'll come to there and we'll just sort of aim them upwards like that. Now you can adjust the height and stuff of the eye, which I'm doing as you can see here, just sort of adjusting the positions. Yeah, just gonna tilt these actually the other way. I think it might work better if we have them the other way. What do you think? That looks quite good, doesn't it? So we're gonna leave them like that. We don't need to go crazy just yet with the eyeliner on him and stuff, because yeah, he has some eyeliner for some reason. Yeah, let's drop in the lower parts or the mid brows. So we just got these 3 little lines just in here. Now I know they're hard to see. Maybe I should give you a little bit of a zoom in so you can see these. Okay, so we do these little lines here, and the nose. So what I'm going to do is a little guide here. The nose, now you have to make an educated guess on where you think the nose is going to be. So I'm going to go just above where this curve is here, and I think that just there is a good position for the nose. So what I'm going to do is just sort of go up in a sort of a very, very wide V type shape. And once I get to just between the eye and the sort of groove here, I'm just going to tilt it inwards and just bring them in like that. And then we could just add this little side bit just there. And again, you could just add these sort of scrunchy things to give him a bit of a sort of sinister, pissed off type look. Now with the mouth, we just want to not really go too far away from the nose with this. So about here is a good distance. We just want a small gap between them two. And we're just going to curve it outwards and curve up. And again, don't go too far from the nose. So we're going to go about here either side. We're not going to go too far. And we're going to make a little bit of a box. So we'll come down and just sort of curve around, leaving ourselves enough space to just drawing a little bit of chin. And again over here, we're just going to curve around. And we got ourselves a little bit of a box. Now you can start to add in some of these minor details to really get an expression and just see what you've got, what you're working with. We can add in some lips just in here. Now I will add details into the lips and stuff when I ink, and that will really show you what I've got going on here. But for now, I'll just keep it with some sort of rough guides, sort of putting in the teeth, curve them around, because they're not such an important thing right now for us to know. Regarding the side cheeks, make a good guess again. We're just going to come a little bit off of this point just here. So we're just going to come in and just nice natural around. And again over here, we'll make a nice guess. Again, just make note that you come out and then you go back inwards towards the center points. Because this point right here is where you put the sort of lines under the eyes. They just fall in right there. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of a FRIEZA going on. The eyes, again, just you know, throw these bits in wherever you want to throw them. Just up here looks good for me. I'm just dropping them in wherever I want to. The eyeballs themselves, again, start with your weakest hand. So I'm starting with the left-hand side because that's my weaker hand. And then I can judge accurately where I need to put this one. Okay, now again, it looks a bit funny, but I will fix that up when I do my... In fact, I'm going to fix it up now because that's kind of annoying me. So let's just do that. I don't like to use erasers, as you guys probably know from watching my previous videos. However, sometimes it's a must and sometimes I need to. So yeah, do a little circle there. So there we go, we got our FRIEZA face. It's a little bit over on this side, can be dropped down a little bit just to match up with the eyes. Don't worry too much if I went too wide, because I can always just change that by adding in the eyeliner on his eye and fix them up. Moving on to the ears, again, we'll just go over here and we're just going to drop this one just a little bit so we can just start to fill in some of these details. We'll go around here, and again, don't forget about this little point. You've got a little bit of a, I don't know what it is really. He's got some weird earlobe thing going on, but we'll drop those in just in there. And yeah, so I'm going to fill out some details here, and let's do this. The curvature up here, again, you just want to get to a nice point, so you only go up a little bit here and then you start to bring it inwards. Again, I'm only going to go up a little bit. Once I get up a certain amount, then I'm just going to go right. Let's turn it inwards. And as you can see, I didn't make the circle too wide. I didn't do it wide enough on that side, so I can just always adjust that. That's why we do our rough lines. We don't go crazy with them, so we'll just sort of bring that around here. And there you go, you got a bit of a FRIEZA head, so we can now adjust everything that we need to. We can clean this bit up just down here. And there you go. Right, so I'm going to move on to doing the rest of the body now. So again, with this, now it's just a matter of guides. So we know where the lower part of the neck's going to go, just fall below the chin. So we can just come over here, drop it a little bit below the chin, and start with the muscles on the side. So they're just going to cross over this point slightly. And the same on this side, we're just going to cross over very slightly, just cross over that point. And it's quite symmetrical, so that's good for us. With this neck, we're going to start the neck just outside of these 2 points here, where they all join. And the neck's going to follow the same lines that we've got going down here. So they go in that same direction, and wherever they meet pretty much gives us the measurements that we need for the chest. So we know that the chest is going to be around here, so all we've got to do now is just start filling out where we think the chest muscles should be. So we're just going to go right across there, and again on the other side it's a little bit difficult for me. I could switch hands actually. So again, all we do is we just sort of bring that line across there, and that one just goes up there, and it's a bit messy, but hey, I'm not left-handed, so yeah. And we'll just give it a little bit of a line just here. We don't want to go crazy with this one. We'll just do a little bit off onto an angle. Don't worry too much, but these points are crucial for us because these are our crossover points for the outside sort of orbs on his shoulders, which will make more sense as I get to them. So don't worry too much about knowing those just yet. But let me zoom out now so you can see what I've got to do. So now what I want to do is I want to start figuring out where the chest is going to be. So this is where it gets fun. The chest is going to just fall, let's just say the midpoint of the chest. We're going to drop a little bit below here. And the distance of the chest is going to be the same distance of this. So we've got this distance here. Let's make an educated guess on where we think it's going to be. So I'm going to say about here looks like a good distance between these 2 points. Okay, so all we do is we just come over a little bit. We don't need to go crazy with our curves. Just go over and join up to where this point is. And again, where this point here is. So we'll just go over there. And there you go. We'll curve upwards and we'll meet onto this line. And again over here we'll just curve upwards and we'll sort of meet onto that line over there. We're not meeting equal height here, so we just want to keep it a bit lower than that because we don't want to be the same heights. But there you go. We can come over here and we can drop this down to this line. We'll go outside of it just a little bit and go around. Again, same over here. We're going to curve around, come to this line, and then we can just go around it just a little bit over here. Okay, and obviously you can fix up this as much as you need to as you do it. When you do your neat versions, I will fix it when I do my inking. But yeah, let's start filling out a couple of these minor details. In the neck, don't forget the neck over here. We just need this in there and up there. And now I want to start and just make sure that I'm still recording my audio. Yes, I am. And now I want to start figuring out how to do this bit. So this bit down here is quite fun, actually. We're just going to figure out a good length. Again, you just want to figure out a good distance. So a good distance is probably just a little bit bigger than this. So about here. So that distance will equal this distance down here. So again, nice little lines. We come in on a bit more of a slant than our triangle on the side. So we can just follow that around. Come down to here. We're going a little bit lower. Doesn't matter. There you go. So we got our little point down there. And then again, guys, we just start figuring out. This point comes down to here and meets on that line. This one again goes and meets on that line. I probably did a bit sharp there. That doesn't need to be that sharp. The arms go to this point up here, and all we're going to do is just go across, go straight. Same over here. We're just going to figure out, we'll just go across and straight over here. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole tutorial, to be honest. There's not much more I can really tell you. I'm just, you know, following this point over here that I was talking about, where I just go around and cross over that point. Again, same over here. When I go around here, we want to fall just above this line, and what we're going to do is just come around here, go over there, cross over this point, and there you go. You sort of get your points. Then you can start filling out the arm details. The arms will come down this area, the other arm over here. Following the triangle, again, we're just going to follow that. We're going to copy it over here. Once we get down, we'll curve inwards, and again over here, follow it, and then follow the arm, follow the triangle upwards. So again, it's a lot of just following lines and triangles and stuff. But guys, yeah, this is the tutorial. So I'm just going to start inking now, and you'll see the final result at the end. And if you did enjoy the video, guys, please let me know. Please leave a comment down below. Please subscribe if you're new. And guys, leave a recommendation on what you'd like to see me do next time. I hope this helped you. Take care now. Bye-bye.